Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, Christy Redefined, and today I'm going to kind of reflect back on the original reason why I started this channel, which was to just share my experience as an estranged mom from my only child, and to just kind of share my journey and share how I've kind of redefined my life from being my son's mom to Chris D all over again, but differently. So today I just wanted to talk a little bit about, I guess not forgiveness, but I not asking for forgiveness. It's an interesting topic. I grapple a little bit with myself, which is why I'm hesitating. I grapple a little bit with myself about now that my son is kind of communicating with me. I email him, and every third or fourth email, he'll email me back some sort of response. So now I've figured out, because I'm actually not very tech savvy, I figured out how to make a voice message file and then attach the file. So I'm not constantly writing my son, but rather, speaking. So this is my first time trying it. I don't know if he's going to like it. Maybe he won't respond back to me, or maybe, I don't know. I don't know how he's going to respond, but I thought it might be, he might want to hear my voice. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. So the idea of forgiveness, and I'm not angry. Some mothers I see on like Estranged Mom Facebook pages that they're angry, or that there's a girlfriend or wife that's involved that's really in their minds poisoning their child against them. I don't have that situation. My son just suddenly decided to, he didn't like me at age 15, which all 15-year-olds, they don't like their moms, 98% of them, right? So something that should have been expected, but my son and I were so close for all of his life that I guess I was thrown aback. And so, he basically, I got my feelings hurt when he said, "I don't like you," one day. And he went to go live with his dad, who was only a 25-minute drive from me. And I thought he would be back. And that's not what happened. 6 years later, it's like 6 years almost, 6 years as of last month, that happened. And so as you've seen in my channel, I was sad for years. And then I decided the day that he walked across the high school graduation stage and I had to watch from the YouTube channel at home, I decided that day that I was going to leave the country and get the hell out. Like, I didn't want to be on this small island that reminded me of my son every day, where I was crying every day, and I just emotionally couldn't handle it anymore. And I'm a pretty strong person. And so I left. I have never spoken to my son. I think we had 1 or 2 therapy sessions, but we didn't really get, right before COVID hit, and then that ended that. But, we didn't really get into the reasons why he suddenly wanted to go live with his dad, or how he felt about me, so I don't really know how my son feels about mom and about where we go from here. I was always under the impression that my son just didn't want to talk about it. He just doesn't want to face those issues and doesn't want to communicate with me about it, which is fine. Whatever reason he had for not wanting to continue a relationship with me, that might be over, or it might still be there. I actually, this is probably different from everyone else, I actually don't care why he doesn't want me in his life anymore. I actually don't care. He's communicating with me now, and I don't want to dredge up all those horrible feelings. It could be triggering for him, and then all of a sudden he doesn't want to talk to me all over again. So I don't want to know. It's just an opportunity. If we start talking about it, it would be an opportunity for us to get mad. Well, I was never really that mad. He might become mad at me all over again, and I'd be right back at square one. So I don't care to know. I just don't care. if he wants to share with me why he wanted to cut me out of his life, then of course I would listen. And I've always taught him that he's entitled to how he feels. And I always have validated how he feels by saying, I hear what you're saying. You have every right to feel that way. I've always said that to him, and I've always said to him, you should always feel free to tell me how you feel. And I won't ever poo-poo that or argue with you about that. And so if he wants to share it with me, that would be fine. But as far as I'm concerned, I would just like to have a relationship with him and not ever bring it up again, unless he wants to share. How do I look back? Maybe there's something I did wrong. Clearly the day that we split, I would do over again, and I wouldn't be as highly reactive as I was. I have a bad temper. I'm emotional. I'm that kind of person. I think if you watch my channel, I think you probably see that I'm highly, how can I say, I'm intense. My family is intense. That's just the way I am. The area where I grew up, Philadelphians are intense. I love my football team with intensity. I hate the Dallas Cowboys with intensity. So everything I do is intense. My son is not like me. His dad is super, super mellow. His dad is very non-confrontative. And, I think he's got, a little bit of me and a little bit of his dad. So my son is not as reactive as I am. And he never has been. And thank goodness. Because, if you have two reactive people in a conversation, it doesn't go well. So my son has always kind of been the more calm one between he and I, and the funnier one between he and I, the one who's much more prone to laughing. So he's always balanced me out. That being said, where do we go from here, and how do I see us reacting to each other? I don't know. I don't think on my part, there's nothing to forgive. If he felt so strongly, I'm getting upset. If he felt so strongly about our relationship that he wanted to go to his dad's house and cut me out of his life, then he has every right to feel that way. And I don't need, I never felt a need to forgive him for that because he didn't do anything wrong. He could have said, Mom, I'm mad at you and I don't want to talk to you for a while. That would have been nice, but I have such strong reactions. I understand why he didn't do that because, I'm sure he feared me because my reactions are super intense. And so he might have been too afraid to even broach the topic with me, which is understandable. So again, I don't feel the need to forgive him because there's nothing to forgive. Whether he feels the need to forgive me, that's his decision. I don't know. I really don't understand why he cut me out of his life. To this day, I don't understand why he did that. But, I accept it. And I mean, that's what drove me to move to Portugal. I accepted that I wasn't part of his life anymore, and I was so depressed I had to move away. So that's what I chose to do to deal with it. And so I've created this brand new life that I'm super proud of and that I wouldn't change at all. That's how I dealt with my pain of losing my son. Other people do things differently. Maybe you want to hear why your child or children are angry at you. Maybe you deal with their reasoning. That's again really personal decision whether you can handle it without dredging up all these old feelings and creating a more incendiary situation again that would respark anger, sadness, rage. I don't want to re-dredge all that up. There's plenty to be mad at, I assume, but um, after the first, week that my son was gone out of my life, I was done being mad. Like, I was done being mad. I was like, okay, I'm done being mad. Whenever you want to come back, and he just never came back. So yeah, that's where I stand with it. Others, again, you may feel differently. You may want to hash it out. You may want to, discuss what happened. I don't. I just want my son back in my life, and I just don't care about the past. We've already lost 6 years and a month. We've already lost that. So I'm not interested in losing more by dredging up the past. So clearly I have to deal with, my sadness over that. And 90% of the time, I'm not sad. It's now I've been talking about this for 11 minutes, so of course I'm a little bit emotional. But I think overall, if your relationship with your child can survive talking about it, and you want to talk about it, go ahead. I, again, am not interested in dredging all that back up. I just want to be with my son, and have him in my life in some way. Even though I'm in Portugal and he's in Hawaii, we could still FaceTime, or we can still message each other every day and send each other funny memes and pictures and joke, and we can still do all that. He's not very communicative. He's never been a very communicative boy. He's a typical boy in that way. But I would, obviously every mom wants their child to be in their life in some way. So that's where I sit with forgiveness, and that's where I sit with building that bridge to the future with your child. That's where I sit in my journey. And my next episode will likely be about my Philadelphia Eagles, or more about politics. We are going to be having our amped up after actions debriefing about the protest, about the Manifestação Protesto, and discuss what we could have done better. I feel really good about the protest after the leader of our group did a more deep dive on the numbers. She thinks it's right around 800 people that were at the protest, which American expats in Lisbon, that's a great turnout. There were some Portuguese there also. I did see some Portuguese folks in the crowd. But I would say the majority of that 800 were Americans that showed up with signs, protesting safely and nonviolently. And I think we all did a great job. Those who organized and those who spoke, I think we all did a great job. But I'll be talking more about that in the next episode, as well as my Philadelphia Eagles. So thank you so much for tuning into my channel, Chris D Redefined. Please hit the subscribe button below if you like the content. It's really just me being me. And that's what this channel's about. It's about redefining yourself and finding who you are after you have lost a child to estrangement. Thanks so much. I'll see you next episode.